Okay, we have supposedly gone live, but we're going to wait for a couple of people to chime in and let us know they can hear us. Give us a 5 by 5. If you guys could give us a 5 by 5. And by the way, welcome to everyone. Welcome to and Voodoo is with us. Excellent. Good evening to you, Voodoo. You let us know if you can hear okay, if you're hearing the audio. And anyone else who's watching live on YouTube. So there's a delay on YouTube, guys. That's why it takes often. There we go, 5 by 5 from Sheraton. Thank you, Sheraton. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, gang. I'll go ahead and start then. First of all, I want to welcome you all to the Liberty Alliance. And I am going to do a quick server mute here. There we go. Sorry about that, Wonder Woman. We're getting a little bit of feedback. We are talking today with Jennifer Rosebrock, actually with the CEAM program that stands for Children's Education Alliance of Missouri. And what we're going to do is find out about CEAM, what it is, how it can help you and your family make better decisions for education. So, welcome aboard, Jennifer. Glad to have you with us tonight.
Hi, well, thank you. Yes, Children's Education Alliance of Missouri. I guess we'll start out with what they are, and it's a parent advocacy group. And so our mission is to let parents, grandparents, just concerned citizens, anybody who is a supporter of school choice, we want them to be able to get their voices heard, and get them kind of a channel, give them a channel to their legislators so that they're, able to be in contact with them and not just always the 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 usual public school organizations that are there. They're always there to advocate on their behalf, but who is there on behalf of the students and families and whatnot. So we have to, we're just trying to help parents find those connections with legislators. And so when there's a public hearing, or even if it's just during the legislative session, just to sit down and talk with your personal legislators or others that you think, you want to talk with them about school choice. This just gives you an avenue to do that. This year we had great success with school choice. We passed the first big school choice bill. It was HB 349, and it was signed into law in July by the governor. And with this bill, it would offer empowerment scholarships. And those scholarships would offer $6,375 per student annually that as the families could use for private school tuition, homeschooling expenses, virtual education, tutoring, therapy, just lots of flexibility and options for parents. And it's just really a great start to school choice. The biggest catches right now with the school choice is that it is offered in areas with populations greater than 30,000. So myself, I'm in the Springfield area, so that would be for Springfield, also Joplin, Jeff City, Columbia, Cape Girardeau, and I believe St. Joseph, and then obviously St. Louis and Kansas City areas. So we have a map there on our website, and I will give you the links to that if you'd like a little clearer picture on that. And then also students need to be in a public school the semester prior to applying for the scholarships. So we have about 4,000 scholarships offered for the state, and we want to be able to utilize all of those scholarships so that we can provide evidence that there is a demand for school choice, which I really think once people know about it, I think the demand is going to be overwhelming. But for right now, it's kind of it's been a bit of a secret, and we're not trying to keep it a secret. We want to, definitely get the word out and let people know.
Okay,
So,
I that is a lot of information. I had a lot of questions and comments, but
yeah.
basically, let's start with this: the
Okay.
advocacy. So, advocates for the students and the parents to the legislators. So basically, you collect data from them, and then basically, you guys can help form better bills in the state of Missouri, that apply to education. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. That's a wonderful thing. I've always said before the parents are underrepresented in this matter. I don't want to necessarily go into all the things that are going on in the world right now with beer flu and things of that nature, but I'm
Hmm.
almost positive that that is making school choice a very popular option right now, just because of that
Yeah.
alone.
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes, Jimmy.
if I may ask Jennifer a question,
Sure.
it seems like, um, explain to me if you can, Jennifer, or if there even is a reason, why this is limited to population centers of 30,000 or more. It seems almost like they're discriminating against the very rural areas. Um,
Um,
is there a reason for all of that?
yes. It's actually it's not so much a measure to discriminate. It's that you have a very what do you say? There's a very protective sentiment approach to small towns that have one elementary school, maybe one high school, that they don't want anything to um, compete with their schools. They're afraid that they will lose what they have in their district. Also, the school district is also a large employer for the town. So there is a lot of fear that's based around school choice, especially in small towns. And it's unfortunate because you have a lot of rift within even the Republican Party. I mean, when I started this, I thought, well, this should be easy as looking at the way that our state government was structured as far as, the legislature and the governor. And I thought, oh, this is a cakewalk. But it's there is a lot of conflict there between the smaller public schools and school choice advocates.
Well, okay, I can understand that, but what are your thoughts on that? It's kind of like, well, I understand your point of view, but ultimately, and this is just my belief,
Mhm.
that the parents should be fully in charge of where their kids are going to school and what type of education they're going to get. So basically, if you're in a small town under 30,000, you do it their way, or, well, I'm sorry, you're out of luck, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. That's part of what I want as a mission is to reach out to these smaller areas because one, people don't know that there is even a possibility that they could send their kids to a private school or get reimbursed for homeschooling their kids. So, I want to let people know about those opportunities and also to let their legislators know that, because they don't hear from the families most of the time. And it really is unfortunate because the students get lost in the mix of all this. It always
Right.
comes
Well,
down to budgets more than, student performance.
well, this sounds kind of like something similar that Patrick and I have run into on multiple occasions. Is that people just are not paying attention to government like they should. Like you say, they don't even know this stuff's available to them. Well, if they did a little digging and a little research, um, perhaps they would be able to educate themselves and provide a better opportunity for their kids.
Yeah, and I think if the voters, if this is a sticking point, an issue for them, and they let their legislators know, this could be a deal breaker for us when it comes to election time. If you're not going to support school choice, I think their attitudes would change greatly.
Well, I would agree with that. I certainly would. Like I said, Patrick and I have run into this problem many times where people are just not paying enough attention. Unfortunately, then their personal education levels are low. They don't even bother calling their representatives or their senators or the governor's office. And it's just a shame. So, okay. Thank you very much for answering my questions. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, great question.
So I'm sorry. Let me get back to the advocacy part again. So basically, we get better bills, and I know that Bishop Davison out of Springfield was able to get vouchers done in certain districts in Missouri. Is that what you were talking about before? Springfield, Joplin, Kansas City, St. Louis.
Yes, but I
Uh,
got to say, it's not a voucher; it's a scholarship.
Scholarship.
And this,
I'm sorry. Yep.
well, I just want to make that clear, because you know, with the voucher, then there always comes the argument that you are taking away from the public school budgets, and with the scholarships, it's privately funded, and so that would not hurt the budgets on the public schools. And I'm sorry, I think I lost what our question was on that.
No, no, you're okay. That was just kind of
Okay.
finishing up from
Yeah.
the original question. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, I'm good, Patrick. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I didn't know I was keying up the mic. So,
Okay. Okay. So, CEAM has been around for a while, and what it is, as we just talked about, an advocacy group, basically for kids and parents to the state legislature. But you guys do more than that, don't you? You guys certainly provide information, resources to parents looking for other options other than the public school system. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. We do offer some resources on oh, excuse me. Um, a little bit on homeschool curriculum. We have the year before we were able to get through a MOCAP, and that is a virtual program. So kind of an alternative to buying curriculum for homeschool. You can do virtual education that's through the public school, but you can, then do it at home with your kids. You can teach them at home, and they have a lot more options there. And so we have information on that as well. Um, and then we also just have a lot of just data if you want to look up, how your district is performing. We have links to that, and what are the, how what is the success of school choice, and there is also studies and data on that. And so we just try to provide information about the various options, and then again, like vouchers versus the savings accounts or scholarship accounts for the ESAs. And so just try to inform people about what is out there.
Uh, Let me ask you this question because I've heard people tell me this before that
Mhm.
Missouri has per capita is like one of the heaviest states for homeschooling that there is in the union. Have you heard that before, or do you know if that's true or not?
Um, I don't know on that, but I will tell you, I have met a tremendous amount of families that have done homeschooling, and I know that what they say is that Missouri is a very good state for homeschooling in regards to just kind of the state is very hands off. They are not trying to intrude in the process of you teaching your kids. And so that has been a concern for a lot of homeschool families, when these school choice bills come around, is there going to be something that's going to, impede what I'm trying to do with my kids? Is this, are they going to be stepping in the middle of this? And so, again, with this law that's passed, there isn't anything that is putting restrictions on parents. So it's not going to, make their life more difficult with homeschooling by passing this law. So, but yes, there is there is a tremendous amount of homeschooling in the state. So it's awesome. It's a very eye-opening to me. I didn't realize how many homeschool families were out there until I really started getting into school choice.
Okay, and I'd
Now,
heard that for
Jennifer, if
years.
I'm,
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was just going to ask her. You guys have a website, right? And I'm sure if you do, Patrick will certainly get to that, and we'll put it up all over the place. But you do have a website where all of this is explained. And the reason I'm sorry, the reason I'm asking is kind of self-interest here. Like I said, I have a granddaughter, and my, my son is not too very far off of my beliefs. So, as my granddaughter comes up to this school age deal, I want to be able to grab a place where I can point them, where they can read all about what their options are, how to perhaps apply for one of these grants or anything like that. So you do have an up and active website, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Theme,
Okay.
themeteam.org. And then also we have one that is that is directed just for the empowerment scholarships, and that is showmeschooloptions.org.
Hey, Patrick, can you fire those up on the YouTube channel?
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad to see I'm glad to see they're better organized with their website than we are, Patrick.
Yes, we're working out though, Jimmy. This week is our week, man. We'll get the website finished up.
I know, brother. I know.
Okay, and let me filter down what you said here just a second ago, Jen, because I think it's important. You had said basically that Missouri just seems to be a friendly environment to homeschooling, especially on the political side. And I'd like to filter
Yes.
that a little bit, because I know people who homeschool in California. The regulation, all the hoops they have to jump through. It's almost like you got to give a blood sample and do all kinds of stuff to homeschool in California per se. In Missouri, the political body that exists here kind of has a hands-off approach. Basically trusting that parents are doing the right thing for their kids. Is that pretty much, would that filter it correctly?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And then on top of that, the scholarship program we're talking about right now is from private donations. So none of this comes from the federal government. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. So it would just individuals or companies that want to donate. We have a cap of 25 million for the first year, and then the potential to grow this up to 50 million. And then, and that's with the existing legislation that we have. And then, obviously we want to, we want to build on to school choice by, adding more legislation. And, my ambition is to expand school choice out to smaller areas in the state.
Is that a political hurdle for you to cross, or is it a financial one?
For CEAM to
expand out into the rural areas? Is it both?
I probably both.
Okay.
Both, because the school boards, I think, are very they're politically tied. You have like the Missouri School Board Association and various unions that are very very quick to advocate. They have professional lobbyists that are working on their behalf. So that's kind of where CEAM is trying to to help families get out there and share their voice as well.
Okay. And by the way, sorry about that, but that's an important thing, I think, to many people that are watching the Missouri Liberty Alliance or listen to us, is whether or not the federal government has any say in your organization, if some federal money is flowing into it, and therefore they get to have some sort of control or some sort of say over the program that you're running or the education the kids would receive as a result of your program?
No, there isn't any federal ties with CEAM, but CEAM we're not going to step into the realm of handling the scholarships.
Okay.
Our mission will be just to find the families and direct them to the EAO's Educational Assistance Office, and they will facilitate, getting these scholarships out to the families. So we're just trying to make the connections for them,
Excellent.
but
So
we are not.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but let me get this straight then. There's like a board that actually handles this so that it's monitored so that it can't be, for instance, abused or taken advantage of.
Um, I don't, the legislation is very new. I would foresee a board, there is going to be these offices that will be, I think it's up to 10 statewide that, will be established. There will be ties with it because it does fall under the control of the treasurer. So there are some political ties there. So we will have to see how that unfolds.
But it's to
But
Missouri and not to the Fed,
it's
though, right?
still within Missouri and not, yeah, it's still at the state level. It is not at a federal level.
Okay, gotcha. And it may seem like I'm beating you up right now, but believe me, a lot of people in our network
No
really
worries.
do care whether or not the federal government has reach, into this education system.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
No,
can
no.
tell you right now, Patrick, that I would be one of those. So you're absolutely right.
yep. Okay, so
Yeah.
now see, okay, and I know the legislation just got passed, and that's where the scholarship program comes from. But you guys have been
Yeah.
around longer than this. So you've been facilitating better education for people in Missouri for how long now?
Uh, 13 years.
13 years. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And we did talk a little bit about homeschooling. And we already know about public, and public's in some cases is a good option. Um, and so, I'll definitely admit that. Let's talk a little bit about private schools and charter schools, if you don't mind. I'm sure that you work with them just a bit as well.
Um, we have connections. We are in contact with private schools. Um, and so sometimes we try to keep them in the loop on what's going on with legislation. But uh, as for now, we're keeping the focus with the parents, and so we're not trying to, as far as I'm understanding, it's not crossing over any lines there, as far as like, we don't want to play favorites on any certain school or
Sure.
anything like that.
Because basically, what I'm getting from you then is if I come to you and I've got, let's just say, a 9-year-old, and my 9-year-old daughter, isn't flourishing the way I think she should, maybe in the public school that she's in, I would come to you, and then you guys would talk with me and my wife and try and find a real good education format that would probably fit my daughter better. Is that one of the programs you do, or is that one of the ways you go about finding a better education for kids?
Um, that is a really good question. Yes, we can discuss different options on that. I think most of the time the focus again is going to be on legislation and staying in Jeff City and keeping parents in the know on what's going on there.
Okay, gotcha.
Um,
So
so
it may not be direct contact with parents helping the kids so much as providing resources and of course advocacy to legislators.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
Jennifer, don't worry. His daughter's way older than 9, so he won't be pestering you.
Great questions. Great questions. So, again, it's like I feel like we're I am a bit new to the organization, but as far as I know, it is just more about getting the voices heard in Jeff City. Now we're diving into a new realm here because of the bill that passed, so those roles may be changing a little bit, but I think they don't want to get necessarily, we don't want to necessarily be involved in the scholarship process. So we want to connect families with those offices so they know that it's out there. The big thing like right that's going on right now is just to let people know that it's available to them.
So you're more or less an informational body. You take the legislation that comes through the pike, dissect it, analyze it, and then put it out there for the public. This is what we have. And we kind of put it in layman's type language for you. And so just so you're aware, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And it seems to me,
Um,
from what you said, Jennifer, you guys actually try to encourage better legislation for education in the state of Missouri. Is that not correct as well?
yes, I mean we do have we have folks that are again that are in communication with the legislators, and so we know those that are school choice friendly, and so we try to make sure that the process um I feel like I'm so we try to make sure that we're getting the things that parents want to see in there.
Okay. Yep.
And not just because it can it was very eye-opening for me with the legislative process and how what goes into the what goes in is not necessarily the bill that comes out at the end. So we try to stay on top of it so that they're hearing from parents and they're not just cutting up things that maybe they think is controversial and trying to just take the safe path, just and then in the end when the families get hurt from that.
Jennifer, please don't think we're ganging up on you. Patrick and I can both attest to the fact that, once you get involved with the legislative process, number one, you're going to learn a whole lot of stuff you might have thought you knew, but you didn't. And it gets discombobulated and mixed up, and it's a big mess. So believe us, we understand exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was a bit disheartened by the population limit when that, because there were a couple different bills, and the first bill didn't have that stipulation in there, and then that one got dismissed, and anyway, but we weren't supposed to have that stipulation in there, and I was told it wasn't in there. And then, we find out later that it was. And again, that's just sometimes when you're at the mercy of the legislature, that's kind of what you get. So, I mean, it's really important that they hear from parents because you have to put pressure on.
Yeah, absolutely. They're always trying to sneak something in the back door. So like I said, I completely understand. So don't worry. That's just the way it is.
And Wonder Woman, real quick, if you could turn down the volume just a little bit on your speakers so we don't get any feedback, sure love to have you join the conversation. So Wonder Woman had typed in any other legislation that you're considering for the new year or you would like to see passed. Is there something you guys are working on right now, Jennifer?
No, actually right now we'll need to wait and get the empowerment scholarships rolling and get those handed out to families, and then at that point we need to have that in effect for about a year, and then we can then go back to Jeff City with more school choice legislation. But it's you have to kind of have it in effect before you can advocate to say, I want to expand this. So, I mean, one of the things that we're looking to do is to be able to have like a waiting list of families that want school choice. So, again, so we can make that case that, hey, this is great, but it's not enough. We need more.
Okay.
You need a track record, if you would.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I understand that too. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Go ahead, Patrick.
I was just going to read some comments here, some relevant comments. Liberty for All says, hoping to move to Missouri by 2022. Love Missouri. Liberty for All, we'd love to have you here. We love Missouri as well, and we're doing our very best to make sure that it is the freest state of the Union. Voodoo Queen does have a question for you, Jennifer. Is there a bill where the money follows the child?
Um, well, the scholarships would follow the child. So they are, it's an annual payment, and the kids get those payments, the $6,375, and that they get that until they turn 18. At that point, if there is leftover funds from that account, then it would go back to the originating scholarship account. But the parents can use that for their choice. So that does follow the kids. And even if they wanted to use it, they could use it for a school that's not in their district, or if they wanted to use it for a charter school, those options are there too. So, and the
Uh,
empowerment scholarship is really good.
how about a bill where, basically the voucher system goes statewide? I know that that's a unpopular option with teachers union and Department of Education. But has that been explored thoroughly in the state of Missouri at this time that you're aware of?
Not that I can't say that. I don't, I've been with the school choice thing for about a year. And so what has happened before that, I can't really say as far as past legislation. I think perhaps the vouchers have been looked at in the past. And one of the big hurdles that we've run into is the Blaine Amendment. And with the Blaine Amendment in the state of Missouri, public funds cannot be used for parochial schools.
Yep.
So that it entirely it cuts them out of the picture. So that's where the scholarships kind of skirted around that and said, okay, we're going to use private funds to, and then parents can do it, use it in any way they want.
Okay, so, well, at some point we could probably visit that at some point here in Missouri. I did talk to some legislatures about vouchers, and they just felt that it was just too difficult to try and get through, at least at this point in time. Maybe it was with the environment, maybe it was with the current makeup of the legislature. I'm not sure. But school choice is always a good thing. It really doesn't matter at this point if you're, and there's lots of different options. But for parents to be able to have choice is the important thing here. So that's why we have you on, is we didn't even know you existed, that there was an advocacy program for parents and for kids, basically with the state legislature to make sure that Missourians have more choices, for educating their kids. So, that's wonderful. I mean, we needed this anyway. Bishop Davison's bill, of course, added vouchers and, no, I'm sorry, not vouchers. I keep saying that word. Scholarships. So we're getting more and more choices. We're getting better
Yeah.
opportunities. So you guys, I'm sure that you guys work directly with Bishop Davison on getting that done as well, or we're at least a part of it somehow.
Um, yes, we have a couple folks that are there on a regular basis, in Jeff City. So, I'm myself, I was, in January, I was just a mom volunteering to go up there, but there are folks that are there every week, talking with legislators and trying to stay in close contact. And we do have some very good um, legislators that are pro school choice. And
Yes.
so that is, and sometimes they surprise you. I've had a couple folks that have like come out of their way, legislative wise, to come out of their way to tell you that they supported school choice and they voted for it and they're very proud. And so, there is a lot of support there, but, you just have to get past, like the rural areas. There's a lot of fear there, but, nobody is trying to crush public schools. We're just trying to offer parents opportunities because it is, um, as somebody had put this description out there of a conveyor belt, and it's like everybody is kind of the same, it's the same process, the same mold, and students are not, no two are the same, and so sometimes it's just public school is just simply not going to be the right fit. And parents, it's up to them to, to have the reins of accountability.
Yep. And we do have Oli P who wrote in his choice is to stop supporting schools that indoctrinate children instead of actually teaching them. So yes, yeah, there's a lot of
Hello.
bitterness. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I think that's definitely spurred on a lot of the drive for school choice is this is the I won't even say a drive to the left, this sudden
Hmm.
veer to the left. It's become much more aggressive than it has been in years past. And so even in small and suburban areas, we're seeing it. So
I would have to assume, though, at this point, and I don't want to get political. There's no reason to get political
Mhm.
because school choice is not a political thing. That's simply
No.
getting the best education humanly possible for your child. That's what school
Yeah.
choice is. But I do know that Bishop Davison is working on a bill that will be introduced in 2022 to remove CRT from the public school system in the state of Missouri. Do you guys know about that? Are you involved in working with him on that legislation?
Uh, no, I don't think CEAM is we're nonpartisan, and so I
I
think
see. Okay.
we're going to stay out of that realm. So we're just going to offer parents, an opportunity out, but we're not going to get into that. I mean, I have personal feelings about CRT, but that's aside from what CEAM is. CEAM is not going to get into that.
I understand. I'm
Don't
sorry.
worry,
That
Jennifer.
Go
We'll
ahead.
take it for we'll take it from here, right,
Yeah, we'll
Patrick?
take it from here. That's right, Jennifer. We got this. We got this. The alliance will be speaking about that one here real soon, probably in October. Latanya King says, "I'd love to keep my taxes since I homeschool." That actually, I'm not sure that Jennifer can help out as much with that, but I'd love for Jennifer to chime in on that.
Yes. Well, the expenses that you have with homeschooling for curriculum, which I'm learning about this as I go, but it seems like it can get pretty costly as far as the books and different things that you need, and so you would be reimbursed for those costs with the scholarships. So if that
Okay,
helps.
gotcha. So, Latanya, there are the scholarships you can apply for. That would certainly help. So, I mean, there
Yeah,
is that option.
absolutely.
And in fact, anyone here who homeschools, in fact, I'm going to tell my daughter about that because she pays for all this stuff out of pocket. So, for
Yeah.
homeschooling my granddaughter.
You I always thought, okay, you give up an income, but it's not just that you give up an income. I mean, you also, yeah, you have all those
Your
materials
time.
that you have to buy and
And
your time. Yeah.
yeah, yep. So, like I said, I am really, really ecstatic that there is an advocacy group here for parents and kids because, and not getting political or anything, I have noticed in the public schools that the advocacy for parents and kids is simply deferment to the school board. Now, that may not be true everywhere, but I have seen it enough in Missouri to, cause concern. I'm sure that you guys have seen that in SEAM too, and that's part of the reason why school choice is one of the reasons why, one of the many reasons why school choice is becoming popular.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna, okay, and I'm gonna say the word face diaper real quick, and I think everyone knows what I mean when I say that. And if you use other words, certain people get upset, and then suddenly your channel disappears. Right now, our attorney general is working to actually sue schools in the state of Missouri that are doing mandatory face diapers. Were you aware of that, Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I am imagining you've probably heard from some parents before that they're not real happy about, their children having to do the face diapers.
Yeah, I think there were so many different things that came out of 2020 that made parents just 20, and I guess and this year as well, but there's just a lot of unhappy parents between the virtual learning and the mandates, we'll say, that have been put on their kids, and I think they're just tired of it, and so I just think it couldn't be a better time to be able to have school choice opening up. So
Absolutely. I predict you guys are going to be very busy this coming up school year. And I'd like to open it up now for anyone who has any questions. I'm gonna let's see, Wonder Woman. Hopefully, we don't get a lot of feedback from you if you have any questions. Let's see. C.A. Jones says the magical dusk mask. And let's see. I had muted you, C.A. Jones, because we were getting feedback from you, but I've unmuted you. So, Wonder Woman and C.A. Jones, if you guys have any questions for Jennifer, and also extend that to everyone on the larger YouTube family. If you guys have any questions or comments, please bring them in at any time now. The link will not load. Okay, let me try that link real quick. It's loading for me. The reason I said that is because Latanya had asked for a link for the scholarship, and I did provide that link in the YouTube chat, but it's not loading up for her.
Okay.
But
Let's
it is
try that
opening up for me.
Okay.
Jennifer, you should know that when we do these, they're being simulcast, of course, here on Discord and with YouTube. And I'm sure Patrick's explained that to you, but oftentimes there's a little glitch like that when some things won't load for some people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
it's it's a .org, showmeschooloptions.org.
Yep.
And okay. So
Yep, that's what I got typed here. So I'll tell you what, Latanya, we'll deal with that. We'll make sure that you get that link. But what she said is what I have is there, showmeschooloptions.org. So yes, if any of you guys wanted to look into your options for a possible scholarship, right now you guys are linked up with the organization that can help make it happen. If you want to homeschool your kids, you want to choose a different option other than the public schools, you guys actually have options now and possible scholarships to go with it.
Well, and
Okay.
it's such a wonderful thing that we got an organization out there like that that's dedicating itself solely to the betterment of children's education. I can't tell you how thankful I am to have you guys doing your thing, Jennifer.
well, thank you. We just love to have the support. So we just want to be able to provide those channels so people get their voices heard.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent. I gotta love it, Patrick. I gotta love it.
Yep.
Old Jimmy D says I gotta love it.
Yep.
And we have lots of supporters. You don't have to be a parent or a grandparent. If you just like the idea of school choice, please just sign up and be a supporter on our network, because we will keep you in the loop on things. And if you're one of those people that likes to take legislative action, we send out text alerts and email alerts, and we will let you know if there is something that's time critical and they need to hear from you immediately in the Capitol. We let you know, and then that goes directly to your legislators, and then also like committee chairs, and so it goes to the right places where it needs to go.
Yep. Montana Sky says, "Thank you so much for this conversation and the useful information. This is one of the reasons so many people are making their way to Missouri. That we do seem to be a destination spot for people around the United States. We enjoy a lot of freedoms here that many other states don't enjoy, at least at this time." So now, and by the way, I'm certainly not going to paint a darker picture here, but I definitely want to say how important it is to get involved in school choice on the legislative level, because Missouri definitely isn't on the forefront of school choice. There are states that definitely have had a bigger head start or have more funding, have more advocacies going on because there's more people involved. Would you say that that's probably an accurate assessment, Jennifer?
Yes. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of the road here. There's last year there were 17 states that already had school choice up and running. One of the biggest ones is Indiana, and they kind of have, over time built up their the school choice options that are there and their programs. But Missouri is a little bit behind, but we're hopefully with this we'll start to, when we get public awareness out there, and it will definitely build up momentum. There were about 9 other states that either expanded what they had for school choice or introduced a program for the first time. So we were kind of right in with that wave of states that way. So
Well, let me ask you a
uh,
hypothetical question.
mhm.
What would it take for Missouri to race up that chart to be number 1, 2, or 3 in the nation? Does it take more awareness? Does it take more people being involved in government? Does it take more money? Does it take a combination of all the three?
um, Probably all three. With the scholarship side, I mean, we definitely are going to need people that believe in it enough that they're willing to donate their dollars to help kids, get out of public, or I won't say get out of public schools, but to find other options. So that is one way. But yeah, I think you just um getting your voices out, and letting your legislators know that this is a critical issue, and this is going to be one of those that it's either, if you're not going to support it, then I can't support you, kind of thing. And you have to make it understood that this is at the top of your list as a voter, that for them to take notice. um,
Jennifer, is there a
As
way?
usual,
Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
I was going to say, Patrick, as usual, it kind of boils down, in my mind's eye, it kind of boils down to, stop watching Sunday football or whatever it is that's on the tube and get involved with this stuff. Patrick, you know as well as I do, as soon as you start interacting with these people, especially at the state level,
Hmm.
you get
mhm.
some kind of response. It's either going to be a good one or a bad one, but then they make the naughty or nice list. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It
that's
just
right.
Yeah.
takes more involvement. It just takes more involvement.
Yeah.
So
And
Accountability, yes,
and
yeah, if I
definitely.
if I had to make an appeal to those people out there that might be listening to this, it's you have to become personally involved. There's no other way around it. Patrick and I with this organization do the best we can, but we're two guys, but with memberships and people joining on and of like mind, all of a sudden these two little voices become 20,000 voices. Okay. So, and that will get things done. So please, people, pay attention to what's going on, and don't be afraid to voice your views. That's all I got to say.
And it's you can be as involved as you want to be. I mean, if you want to be up in Jeff City and talking directly with legislators, we can help you do that. If you just want to send in a phone call once in a while when things are happening, we will provide the information so you can do that as well, or emails, or you know I think there's you can be as involved as you want to be. I mean, if you want to make it a priority, and I think for a lot of families it is getting to be that way, and that we will help facilitate that. That's what our mission is.
Well, that
okay,
is excellent.
I'm showing everyone right now on Scene Team Stay Informed. You can get SEAM's newsletter, and that will give you updates of everything that they're dealing with. I imagine legislatively, and also
Yes.
not to mention that, but just probably some generic information to help make parents, or I'm sorry, help parents make better choices anyway. So much like being on an email list for an organization that you believe in, Second Amendment rights, pro-life, school choice. School choice has one too, gang. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this right into the chat in YouTube. And you guys can actually sign up here to stay informed to find out what's going on legislatively. I'll be doing the same thing, in fact. So this is.
Yes,
Go ahead, Jimmy.
absolutely. I said yes, absolutely. I'll be doing the same thing.
So this is basically what people do then. Is that correct, Jennifer? They just sign up for the newsletter, and then basically they get more information, and then they can go on from there. And all the way from donating time to donating funds, or just getting information. All starts right here with getting the newsletter.
Absolutely. It's that simple.
Okay. Okay, guys, you have the link right there. Let's see. Sheraton Farmer is asking, what about special education in the schools?
Oh, well, I can tell you that students with IEPs, the individualized education plans, those students also qualify for the scholarships in areas greater than 30,000. And something new about that I learned was that I always connect that with public schools and the special ed programs, but you don't necessarily have to be enrolled. Your kids don't have to be enrolled in public school to have an IEP. So you would probably need the public schools to facilitate creating an IEP for your child, but you don't have to be in the public schools for that to happen. So just something to think about with that is that is a qualifier for the scholarships. And we have a lot of families that supporting school choice that have kids with special needs, and a lot of them have found other ways. Homeschooling seems to be primary, but then also just going to a private school, and that seems to be a big game changer for a lot of families.
Okay. Latanya says, pardon me, I'm sorry. Fundraisers help, and we love cookouts and potlucks here. Yep, I'm sure that there's a lot of fundraising opportunities to help out CEAM in order to literally help the kids of Missouri with better education choices. Let's see. Liberty for All says, I'm glad I met you on Pika's live chat. I'm very impressed with Missouri's laws overall. My brother already moved there. I even love nature. It's beautiful there. Hey, I agree with you with Liberty for All. I agree. I love this state. I love everything about it, and I love the fact that we're networking with other people who love the state and want to make it even better. And make it even better means including lower taxes, more choices, more freedom. So, and that's CEAM is all about more school choice. So, and then that's a beautiful thing about it too. I know I kicked this dead horse. I'm going to kick it one more time to make sure it's dead. I just love the fact that you're not taking federal funds, that your organization doesn't get federal funds and therefore has no say over education. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
I agree. It would be. I think it would be a hard sell in Missouri, because I think there are so many, folks that like yourselves that are, in favor of just having those personal liberties, and don't want the political ties to them.
Absolutely. Missourians should decide what's best for Missouri for education. We don't need the federal government's help in that regard. So Wonder Woman says we need to connect through the platforms for important information that need involvement. And I agree with you, Wonder Woman. That's the link that I had put into the YouTube chat earlier for people to sign up to get the CEAM newsletter. If you're in Missouri, and if you have kids, or if you have grandkids, or if you have nieces and nephews, I highly recommend you get the CEAM newsletter. I'll put that back up there one more time. I think this is the right one. That's it. And I'll go ahead and put it in the Discord chat as well in real time. But that's where we get our information from. See, we could stay informed, and I'm sure in the newsletter, if there is a priority piece of legislation, they would let us know through the newsletter. Does that sound accurate, Jennifer?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It will definitely keep everybody up to date on legislation as it's, developing and where it's at in the process.
Okay. All right, gang. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give a final call out for questions, comments about school choice and CEAM in the state of Missouri. So, you guys, please, bring in any questions or comments that you have at this point. And by the way, this isn't the end. We'll have Jennifer back again. I'm sure, hopefully, Jennifer had an okay experience with us, and she'll come back when we have, news on the school front in the state of Missouri. She'll be our, reporter at large.
That would be excellent, Patrick. That would be excellent. We would love to have her back.
Well, I definitely appreciate the time and the opportunity here to answer questions and talk with everybody. And I'm the outreach associate for the Springfield area and pretty much for most of Southwest Missouri. So I would be happy to answer any further questions anybody has.
Yep, I put all of the contact information for CEAM that I had, with the exception of the scholarships, and I'll correct that in a moment here, in the description section of this video on YouTube. So those of you on YouTube, basically just check the description section. You should have a website, an email address, Facebook, and Twitter, I believe. But I'll go ahead and get the information in for the scholarships, and I'll do that in real time.
Thank goodness we got you, Patrick.
Yeah.
That voodoo computer stuff you do baffles me, but I love it when you do it.
Oh boy, I fake it. Okay. All right, now the CEAM scholarships are located in the description section of this video as well. Guys, first of all, thank you for everyone who actually came in. A few more questions here. Montana Sky says, keeping federal money out of the state is so important. Once you're in bed with them, it's all over but the crying. Yeah, I agree with you, Montana. Mm-hmm. Scott says, will this program put teachers out of work? I don't think that's the point of this. Basically, this is a very, how do I put it? This is a passive approach to actually starting a bigger school choice program in the state of Missouri. My question was more about accelerating it. But basically, at this point in time, there's scholarship for how many kids? 4,000?
4,000.
Okay. So, yeah, 4,000 kids on scholarships is not going to put teachers out of work. So no issues with that, Scott Mason. Montana says, can this organization accept out-of-state donations?
Ooh, very good question. Possibly. I have to check into that. There's a tax credit that is offered with that. So I don't know how that would work with out-of-state donors.
Okay, so someone from out of state could donate, but they may not be able to use it as a tax write-off in their state, unless, of course, they're in Missouri.
Yes, and yeah, but that I have to check on that for sure. But that's what I'm thinking. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, gang. Well, I'll tell you what. The important thing here is, like I said, the networking, the getting informed, and staying involved with your legislators. That's what CEAM is doing. And CEAM can let us all know through their newsletter when they need our help to get good work done in Jefferson City, basically for school choice for our kids. And although, basically, I don't think anyone here has bashed the public school system. I don't think we have, but there are other options than public schools. Everyone here knows this. And CEAM is working with parents to help them if that's a better option for their kids. So that's basically what they're, the opportunity that they're providing to Missouri kids is, which is, once again, it's just wonderful to know you guys are out there. When we get our website up and running, Jennifer, we will definitely be promoting CEAM through our website, and we'll also put you on our partner list on all of our socials as well. School choice is a very important thing to the Missouri Liberty Alliance. So we're very grateful to have you join us.
Wow. And really appreciative again for the chance to be able to talk and get the word out. And yeah, I hope that both our organizations can definitely get the public support. I think they will.
Yep. Let's make Missouri the best state for school choice. Let's make that our
Yeah.
goal. Let's make it so the other states literally have to compete with us on school choice.
That would be amazing.
It would be. Okay, gang, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. And I think that's it for the questions and comments on YouTube, and nothing new has come through on Discord. So I would like to say thank you very much to Jennifer for joining, the Missouri Liberty Alliance to let us all know about CEAM and what our options are here in the state of Missouri, and what our legislature is doing to help us out with school choice as well. But it's going to take all of us to get more of this work done. CEAM can't do it alone. They're going to need additional help. So basically, when phone calls and emails are needed, we'll find out through their newsletter, and we can definitely help make Missouri number one on school choice. Remember, now our goal is to be number one in everything. So school choice is definitely one of the ones we need to pay attention to, because the education of our kids is the finest and best gift that you will ever give your kid, even though they won't recognize that until they're a little bit older. So,
Absolutely, Patrick. Absolutely. And Jennifer, just on my behalf, thank you very much for joining us in here tonight. It is absolutely wonderful that we have an organization such as yours in the state of Missouri. Again, like Patrick says, it just gives more choices, more freedoms, and more liberty to the people who live in this state. And that's exactly what we want. So thanks
Yes.
again for coming in here and talking to us.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
all right. And thank you to all of you on YouTube and all of you who joined us in Discord. Thank you for your wonderful comments and questions. You guys all have a wonderful Sunday evening. May God bless you all. Take care, gang.
Good night, guys.
Bye bye.